free for all is not. It's very difficult.
Battle started.
Oh, I was the brown player. Oof. Iggy. All right, so how did we spawn? So there were 3. I spawned in a lucky thing where this wasn't filled. You guys gamed Apex, and Electron got this for free. That's why he was so big. He got this for free, like I got that for free. Let's go like 4 times speed. So I'm opening up with metal extractors. There's 2 resources, metal and energy, and a 3rd hidden one called build power that spends your metal and energy. So basically, metal you get by placing these metal extractors on the map. They're fixed value, they're 2.0. And then you can upgrade them later in the game, and they give 4 times their value. Energy you get by making winds and solar collectors at the start of the game. And then again, as you sort of upgrade your technology, you can go into bigger games. So I'm popping out a few light skirmish units here, just to sort of scout who my opponents were next to me and where I had the space to expand. So that's why I'm sending a con this way. Exits are the metal extractors are very important to take in the early game, as you get a lot of metal value from them. You can also get metal from converting your energy into metal, but it's less efficient, right? These metal extractors do a lot more than converting your energy.
Destroyed.
So you take as many as you can, and then you start converting to sort of scale up your exponential economy. So yeah, I'm taking these metal extractors and building defenses because I want to keep them as long as I can. And the guy who was there at the end of the game that you guys saw, Electron over here, he's sort of doing the same thing as me. Building some units to defend my base. I'm more focused on, I was personally more focused on defenses, static defense earlier in the game. To sort of just ward off my opponents while I found somewhere I could expand. Then I spent a while just, again, scaling this wind in my base. You can see I'm stalling on energy here. I don't have enough of it for what I'm making. But I'm pressuring this guy, who's making a lot of units to stop me. Get a little run by into his base. Yeah, it's a lot easier to comment when I'm not playing the game, you know? Again, if your commander dies, this big guy here, he's got a lot of damage. He's got a disintegration cannon that instantly kills a unit in the game. But if they die, you're out of the game in this game mode. In FFA, that's your win condition, is killing all of those guys. So it's important not to have them completely in the front line, like I'm doing here. But it's okay, I dodged. You can see T's trying to push me a little bit on this side, but these static defenses I have slightly outrange his units. He has to come into range and trade badly. Meanwhile, he's got sort of slightly longer range artillery units, and I'm doing more of a tanky frontline unit to sort of push into him. It's a disintegration gun, I believe. Drac. Here, wait, let's, yeah. And I'm just pushing into him. I'm trying to kill the commander here, but I don't quite get it. I get him very low.
Commander destroyed.
This guy dies and is out of the game. Is the first player dead, I think. Oh no, 2. First 2 players dead are over there. Giving him free reign to scale up his economy.
I just want to call out Apex has...
I'm trying to make a tier 2 lab here, so I can go these tier 2 constructors that can build. First of all, they can upgrade my mexes, my metal extractors, to 4 times the metal. And then secondly, they can build much bigger advanced fusion and fusion reactors that you'll see later in the game for energy. We sort of stalemate here for a little while I sit on as many metal extractors as I can, as much area of the map as I can. Shots fired. Oof. But anyway, I pop out this T2 con, and we can see now it's giving me 8.1 metal instead of 2. And he also has these bigger defenses and buildings that we can build. So that's sort of plays into the exponential economy scaling and beyond all reason. Farandor starts facing pressure from this guy who won his lane. which takes it off of me, which was very fortunate here. It gives me a chance to go into an air lab and build some air units. Another thing that's different from StarCraft about this game is you have these build turrets that give you build power to boost your labs. You don't need multiple labs in this game. There's this extra build power resource that you can use. Like every constructor unit has build power. These have 80, the Concept 200, for example. It just determines the rate that they spend your resources. But you can go one lab and a bunch of these constructor units, and they will more efficiently boost because your lab is fairly expensive. So I'm going into air here. I sort of scouted the map a minute ago. I saw who was big and who was a threat. This guy has some of those advanced fusion reactors that can quickly cause him to snowball. Clear those out with air. Go over this way. Pretty big wind farm. I just clear it out with bombers as well. And then I sort of want to take this triangle was my idea, so that I'm able to defend this limited area where they have to push up the hill where they have less mobility. So next thing I do is kill my lane opponent with those bombers. You notice I'm killing his entire base, but the thing that will actually end him is when I kill this commander.
Commander destroyed.
And then it leaves wreckage behind when you kill units. So this is all metal wrecks that you can reclaim on the map, or you can resurrect them to get you more value. Here I'm building an anti-nuke silo because I don't want anyone to shoot a nuclear missile at me, which this game also has. In addition to smaller tactical missiles and a long-range artillery. This red circle is the unit range. Here I'm building some res bots. They can either reclaim the metal. So for example, I would get 1200 metal from this guy, or I can resurrect him. I choose to resurrect the commander, as resurrecting a commander here just makes me, sort of future-proof. I have two commanders. It's harder to kill me because now my opponent has to kill both of them in order for me to die.
Commander destroyed.
I upgrade my Geo in here. It's pretty cheap energy, but it gets you quite a lot. I go into some heavier tier 2 units, and I put them out towards the choke points. These guys are very slow, heavy moving units that are very good, high damage and anti-spam. So I just made them to hold the choke sort of early on while I work on building some thicker defenses. These are all pop-up turrets over here. What the flark? Thank you very much for the follow, man. And I start defending myself from air. Most of the time in Beyond All Reason, you're playing a lane map. It's sort of normal. The normal game mode is 8v8. So normally like 1 or 2 people on your team will build these air units, but in an FFA like we're playing, you have to build everything for yourself. So I'm going into air to defend myself from bombings like I did earlier. While I start scaling up my economy, we can see I have some fusion reactors coming down over here. I have some bigger advanced fusion reactors, and I'm keeping my economy spread because this, not the flashing line, but the red inner line, that is what the explosion radius is. So most energy producing units will explode when they die. So I don't want, all of these clustered together. Like some small clusters are okay, but I don't want them to all chain with each other and create a giant explosion. So I'm sort of spreading out where I'm building them here. And then I think that some of my lane opponents might be a little bit ahead on air, and I just think it's nice. So I start building flak to defend my triangle, as well as these are long range AA. You can see the purple circle, sort of that. It's a little wider than that. Oops. That is the range of it. It chips away at my opponent's fighters and any bombers that come to bomb me before they get to the base. Here there's 2 factions in the game currently. They're developing a third. I started out as the Cortex faction, which has a little bit heavier hitting units, but slightly worse economy essentially in the early game. But I want there's tier 1, 2, and 3 units in this game, but there's only tier 1 and 2 economy. So like once you get to the tier 2 construction bot, you can build the highest economy in the game, which is these advanced fusion reactors. But you can still build a tier 3 lab, which is this big lab that you'll see coming down here in a minute from me. That allows you to build the big heavy units in the game that, you know, sort of truly make the game what it is in these massive economy slugfests. Over here we see I've got all my defenses set up. I'm starting to get more anti-nukes built, and then I'm building these counter intrusion systems. There's another feature in the game. Units are able to cloak. Specific units are able to cloak up. You can see my long-range AA taking care of these fighters before they get to me, and then these gunships, and then my fighters clean up the rest. But these anti-stealth, they detect cloaked units that are coming towards your base, so they have a range. It's, you know, about that. Or they can see those units coming into my base, and those can either be attack units or they can be EMP units that stun my anti-nuke. So my opponent can launch a nuke at me. Yeah, we finally see the tier 3 lab comes down here. There's a number of different units you can build, but I opt at this point. I have a very large economy. You can see I'm making 700 metal per second essentially with the energy I'm converting. I'm converting 550 energy. This box up here. So I opt for the 13,000 metal unit just because, you know, I can make it in about 20 seconds. Excuse me, sorry, I had to cough there. And then again, I make another area where I can keep scaling that economy. Another tier 3 lab, this time for the other faction, where I can make these massive tank units. They do a lot of damage, but they move really slow. So over here, I'm going to make the Titan. It's sort of a faster moving, heavy hitting, single target damage. This is a much slower, much heavier hitting unit that I want to use for defending my base. Sounds so professional. Thank you. We've got, yeah, more construction turrets coming down here again. I do build a second lab because there is this walk-off time where when the unit finishes, it takes a moment to get away from the lab. So you do scale some extra labs, just not to the extent of other RTS games. Drag at home. You can see my friend T-Time over here, who worked with me a little bit this game through OP diplomacy. He's building long-range plasma cannons to shoot his opponent. This guy, this is one of the massive units, this biggest unit in the game actually, called a Juggernaut that my opponent built. He's clearing out a guy in the opposite corner from me. But you can see when it dies here, it actually does a nuclear explosion, which is pretty cool, but very heavy hitter. Swerving, hey, how's it going? And then yeah, we just stuck with this for a while. This is sort of the state you guys saw me in, except I was the cyan color and not the brown color. I'm just gonna keep making fighters here. I never want to die to air. Air is how a lot of late games are ended. So I make sure I have a good supply of fighters. I have them on this patrol route that automates the command around my base to keep me sort of defended. And they'll go and auto, if enemy air decides to come at me, they'll sort of fly out and auto attack it by themselves, which as well as the ability to, you know, chain commands like Mr. K said in chat a minute ago. You always knew Grace was the brown player. Yeah, typically brown is reserved for the lowest player on a team, so they're saying it's funny that I'm a brown player because it means I'm bad at the game. Lowest ranked player on the team. I'm building some TAC missiles over here.
Commander destroyed.
They can shoot into Good Knight's base over here. I don't actually use them because we started working together around this point. But, and then this is one of the fun units of the game. The 68,000 metal unit, you can see I'm making about 1,000 per second. So, you know, in a couple minutes, this will be up because I'm spending metal on these big Titan units, on these big Behemoth units, on making more fusion reactors. So it's coming up, and I built 200 air cons just because they're fast build power, very mobile. to boost it out faster. Yeah, it was a rage of all your LRPCs, 100%. That's why I had shields. So that's another thing. I'm building these shields because they stop the long-range plasma shots. They absorb the damage in anything that hits the outside of the dome. Help protect me against this unit that I'm building. We'll see that come online in a minute. I'm also massing up these large titans here. They have a massive tachyon laser as well as plasma cannons on their arms and a rocket that shoots out of their back with varying ranges. You can sort of see the varying ranges for those three weapons to defend. My plasma cannon is up. I'm shooting it at my enemy. Great effect currently. We see this advanced fusion reactor, one of the highest health units in the game, going down, and then it explodes. Massive explosion. I started out as Cortex, but I got an ARM commander. And I just keep shooting at my opponent's economy over here. I want him out of the game. You can see he's got a lot of tier 1 spam sort of units. I should be making tier 1 spam at this point. I should have a lot of these units just sort of automated streaming towards his base out of the labs. They provide really good vision as well as eat some of the much higher damage shots. But instead, you know, I just thin out the herd a little bit with my long-range plasma cannon. I sort of change target every couple of shots up. Kills a lot of those smaller units. And then he's basically dead. I've killed most of his economy at this point. There's a couple more advanced fusion reactors here that I finished killing. He's been fighting his, first of all, this opponent, and then once this guy died, the yellow opponent to the north, so he wasn't really ready. We've been sort of stalemated. Then my giant wall of insane metal value, 108,000 metal of Titans. Keep in mind, you know, we started this game with 3 metal extractors producing 6 metal per second total. I walk into their base. We're at 56 minutes. We've got a lot of metal income at this point, over 1,000. And this is actually taking a large amount of energy to shoot, so that's decreasing the amount of metal we're making. We probably were making closer to 1,300 when this wasn't shooting. But I just clear out my opponent. I have these scouts coming because my opponent can cloak his commander so that I can't see it. The scouts will be able to see that cloaked unit because they have radar, which is another feature in this game. That radar produces a little dot like that, so you can see that there's something there that's approaching you. Yellow knows how big I am because I've been shooting him with my cannon. He's trying to flank around inside of my base over here and sort of end me. You see the behemoth that I made early to defend does a huge amount of damage on those those weaker tier 3 units. The 6,000 metal unit, these are 13,000, so 2 or 3 of these guys might be able to kill him like that. I just push in and I end that. Meanwhile, my units here are all going at my opponents, trying to end. We can see my friend is unfortunately dying. I didn't see much of this,
Commander
but
destroyed.
dying to some big units over here. I have thankfully a unit position to defend that, but I was a little scared for a minute that he would get to my base. But we can see even these weaker T3 units are getting one shot. This is the strongest unit in the game right here, but he comes within range of these very slow moving behemoths and it just gets melted. The juggernaut just dies to the behemoth. At the top of the map, we're still chasing this guy's commander down. He's trying to be second in the game. He didn't want his commander to die. If he just sort of hides and rats, he can remain in the game for a longer period of time. The behes the behes did a lot. I'm just pushing my Titans into his base at this point. We see those pulsar lasers coming out, as well as the rockets. And then, yeah, we kill his base there as my air flies in.
Battle ended.
And I was coming with some heavier sort of gunships, but they shoot fire and lasers into his base as well to end the game. And yeah, that's it. welcome to Beyond All Reason. If you guys have questions about normal games, I've got a lot of 8v8 videos on my channel. You link it real quick. I'm also happy to answer anything in the Discord if you guys have questions or whatever. So yeah, basic introduction. Hope some of you will give it a try. It's a free to download game. You can get it for free at beyondallreason.info. It's completely community developed and free to play. So Bruno, you have to look in the description of the stream and you'll be able to find the Discord link. But yeah, there we go. And then